here from INEXTERIORS Painters and Decorators, and you're watching INEXTERIORS TV. In this video, I'm going to show you how to repair water damage. If you would like to purchase some of the tools that we used for this project, please check out the links in the description below. And also, please feel free to check out my tool store. The links are also in the description below. With that said, let's do this. Right, this is the water damaged lining paper ceiling we're going to repair. The selection of materials and tools that I use for this task are some ceiling and wall paint, white oil-based undercoat, Solvite extra strong wallpaper repair and overlap and border adhesive, a container, a paint kettle, a couple of roller trays, a selection of paint brushes, a foam mini roller, an emulsion mini roller, some 80 grit sandpaper, Stanley knife, filling knife, cork board, dust brush, a multi-tool scraper and a Decorators cork and gun. Right, with the sharp snap-off Stanley blade, I cut down the edge to peel the paper back. Just to let you know, this was a leak and the leak's been repaired and this has been left to dry out for at least 2 weeks. With my sandpaper, I just give it a sand down to make sure there's nothing that's loose. Next, I'll get the oil-based undercoat and paint the brown dots and the surrounding area. You can also use Zinsser BIN primer for this. The only difference between the oil-based undercoat and the Zinsser is that the Zinsser dries a lot quicker. And here you can see here, it's all pure white, no more brown dots. After the undercoat's been left to dry for 24 hours, I just get the sponge and I just wet the paper just to soften it up, just to make it a little bit easier to work with so the paper's not all stiff. Then I'll get my Solvite border overlap adhesive, and I use this because it's, really strong and we want this to stick back. And I brush the glue on the paper itself and on the ceiling part itself. You can also use a good PVA glue as well. And with the same sponge that I use to wet the paper with, I use it to stick the lining paper back to the ceiling and to smooth the paper out. After leaving the glue to set for a further 24 hours, I then get the oil-based undercoat and I coat the whole area up that I stuck back, because there's brown stains on the paper and we just don't want that to bleed through when we put the emulsion on. So we just give it another good coat of undercoat on this side just to doubly make sure that the stain's not going to reappear. After another 24 hours, when the undercoat's dry, what we need to do is cork and fill any gaps. So what I do is I just run my cork gun along these gaps here and just smooth the cork off with my finger. And then there's just a couple of little areas that I fill with the filler as well. The filler that I use to fill this is just a bit of ready mix filler that I have in the van, because even though I use Gyprock Easy Fill 60 a lot, just for little jobs like this to save knocking up a batch of Gyprock Easy Fill, I just carry a small pot of ready mix filler with me as well. After leaving the cork and filler to dry for about 4 hours, we're ready to give the whole area a light sand down, paying attention to the filled areas. After giving it a dust off, it's ready to have its first of 2 coats of paint. Just to let you know, I use the emulsion roller sleeve for the emulsion and I used a foam roller for the oil-based undercoat. And the reason I don't use the emulsion roller for the oil-based undercoat is because it pulls the hairs off and the fibres and it gets into your work, and we don't want that. After leaving it to dry for a couple of hours, we then apply the second coat. You might notice that it takes quite a while to dry over the oil-based undercoat, but don't worry, it will dry out. Now that's the ceiling finished, it's time to tidy up the wall by cutting in the wall to ceiling. I cut it in twice because the ceiling colour still grins through after giving it one coat, so I have to give it 2 coats. There we go. This is it, all finished. And that is how to repair water damage. If you've got anything from this video, please like, share, subscribe. Please hit that notification bell if you want to be notified of any future videos, and please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Thank you very much for watching, and take care.